Welcome back, everybody. You might remember this little setup from a few weeks ago. I did a series of improvisations using this very simple looping setup, and I got some questions that I want to address. Also, in the midst of making that video, I really liked the pieces that I improvised, so I released it as an EP that you can find on my Bandcamp page. It's called Ephemera, and I'll be sure to put a link to that in the notes. But let's talk about how I was looping with this. I got some questions about the order of the pedals and the process. So signal chain wise, we're going from my guitar to the Boss DD5, my oldest guitar pedal, maybe the first one I bought. This Catalan bred bicycle delay, and this discontinued Harbin Audio Synesthesia Drive. Now what I'm using each one of these for, this is basically my looper. And I consider when you have a delay that goes on and repeats almost infinitely, I would call that a loop. So in this instance, I'm calling this my looper. The bicycle delay has some very interesting sort of resonant, almost bandpass delay kind of things happening, but I don't think that's really the whole story on it. But what I'm basically using it for is to fade in different resonances on top of my loop. So I have my loop going here, and then using the blend control, or what's called the lucid control on here, I'm able to blend in some different resonances. And then last, everything is going through this Synesthesia Drive because I like the two-band EQ. It's got a high and a low, or a treble and bass as it's called on here. And that allows me to control the color of the overall thing, the overall sound loop that's happening. So I find that useful even when I'm doing stuff in the laptop. I'll put an EQ after the looper and use that to control what frequencies are making it through, essentially, treating it like sort of like a barrier that the frequencies have to get through. So today I am playing through a Benson Vincent head, just the clean side of that head, and I have a Nunaber wet reverb in the send and return of the effects loop. So here's the sound of the guitar. So really long reverb. In general with this stuff, I like to be going into a longer reverb or delay, which just sort of smooths everything out and you get these beautiful transitions. So by way of example, I'm going to capture a couple of notes in the DD5. I have it set on the backwards delay function. The feedback is all the way up, the delay time is all the way up, and the level is at about 2 o'clock. And then I will fade in some overtones, what I'm calling overtones, from the bicycle delay. After I kind of get that going, I will show you what the EQ sounds like. So here we go. So this is the basic premise for everything that I did on Ephemera. I do a couple of tricks with this where I will capture a loop, and because this only has about a 2-second delay time, I will play with the feedback knob and kind of dial it back if I want to kind of move to somewhere else or establish a new tonal center. I can do that by dumping the old stuff out faster by dialing back the feedback knob. But in general, this is the whole thing, and it's really simple. I think it's powerful to be able to create compelling pieces of music with a simple set of tools. This isn't complicated. You can do this. You can even do it without the reverb that I have on the amp. If you just have an amp that has some spring reverb, you could turn that up really loud. By way of another example, I'll show you how I capture a loop here in the DD5 and transition it to something else by dumping it out using the feedback knob. And I'll kind of show you too that because there's a short delay time here, you can create some variety in terms of long notes that make these sort of long chords, and then entering some shorter little notes using my volume control that kind of create rhythms that make me think of like Peter Gabriel Security era background sounds that you would hear on some of those tracks. So check it out. One more trick that I'll do with the DD5, and there aren't many because it's a pretty straightforward delay pedal, is that on the reverse delay setting, it'll actually change the pitch of what you're playing based on what the delay time is. And if you have something captured in there already, it'll actually take it up an octave or down an octave. So I will play off of that a little bit. It doesn't do that in the normal delay settings. It creates more of a staticky sort of electronic delay glitch sound, which is not bad in and of itself. But here's one more thing that I'll do with this. So there you have it, how to make a fairly complex result out of some simple pieces. I would say that the main technique in use here is learning how to use the limited means in order to create seamless transitions from one texture to the next, whether that's that you're adjusting the feedback here while you have overtones from the cattle inbred happening, and this sort of covers the shift here. Or you're just being very careful with the feedback knob. There's sort of a lot of, you can do a lot of dancing here, but once you practice it with the gear that you have, I think it gets pretty comfortable and it becomes kind of second nature. And once something is second nature, then you can begin to experiment and take chances and reasonably know that you're going to be able to get out of any binds that you get yourself into. So the other great thing about a simple setup like this is that you can do things in production and in recording, like create really great textures. Then you're not actually on the hook to be the only thing that's being listened to, but generating ambient moments or pads or textures that happen underneath another piece of music that generally is kind of more exciting than something static or even like a keyboard pad. I think they're more organic and you can make them performative to respond to different moments in the music. So there you have it. This is my simple tabletop looping rig. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Please check out the other videos in this series and also my EP Ephemera. And if you want to get some more information from me and also be invited to join my exclusive content friendship club, you can go to my website, www.danphelps.com, and use your little fingers to type in your email address, and I'll send you a password to get into the secret part of my website that's only for super special people like you. So thank you very much.